Julie here with Sirius Talis Moon. This is Sol, our moon days. Sol is in the 11th house, and it is ruled by Venus in 29 degrees Virgo, and midheaven 22 degree, ascendant 10 degrees Sagittarius, so we can call on Antares. But I want to talk about something. Okay, so right now my mom tell me that it's the end of the transferring of the kidnapped people. Everybody is in Israel, and I get midheaven 22 degrees, which is the lot of fortune for 1800 chart Netherlands. So I just thought, okay, Netherlands is highly involved, and 7th of October, Benjamin Netanyahu called back then Netherlands premier, now head of NATO, and that was when 7th of October began. Okay, so before letting anybody know in the nation, he called the Netherlands premier, and midheaven sextile Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio, and this is the question that pops is, what is the role of Netherlands? And I think we'll still go, like, it's kind of like we're gonna know in the war that supposedly ended. Why am I saying supposedly? Because it takes time, you know. Mercury in the 12th house, 9 degrees Scorpio. Yes, Moon separating from the trine, Moon trine Mars. Beautiful aspect. So I just thought I'll pop up to say that because I believe there was something here that was could have the power to prevent political assassination in the Netherlands. And I want to say that those things are always dual. And this is, they have elections 29th October, and those things are always dual. So anybody in Netherlands, okay, anybody in Netherlands, anybody Tweede Kamer, or previous Tweede Kamer, need to take precaution around this time, because I believe this thing was of dual quality, because it both prevents political assassination, and it may even be the case, because Mercury is a sign of motives, it may be the case that the things eventually came to attempt to prevent political assassination, but this is from Netherlands chart. So people are thinking Donald Trump. The only way it will be Donald Trump is if Donald Trump is associated to House of Orange, and that would make him Dutch. Okay, so if this is the case, then maybe that can be Donald Trump, but it was to prevent political assassination in Netherlands, or of Netherlands, prime ministers or ministers or people that are about to be prime ministers, because of that signification. I know there was a while ago I made video, and there was attempt to get at the plane. I don't know what plane. There was attempt to do that. Right now, ruler of midheaven in the 12th house. So this is somebody, you know, it can be Trump. There's something to do but with the chart of the Netherlands involving particularly returning all the kidnapped. And the emphasis here was on returning all the kidnapped. And this was to prevent political assassination. But the 22 here means people still need to be cautious. Lot of fortune, regul degree. Okay. Okay, I will say that then. I can talk about that. Yes, let me just do a definition that it's not risking anybody to talk about that. Al-Qaid, I'm going to call on Al-Qaid, 11 degree. No, I can't talk about that. No, 11 is me. I'm doing the quest. 11 is me, so it's not risking anybody but me. And so this is okay. Al-Qaid. Okay, I talked about the fact political assassination in the Netherlands. They were trying to assassinate people, and the 24. Okay. Okay. There was attempt among the many political assassinations attempt in Netherlands. There was attempt of kidnapping of a premier, Mark Rutte, but this attempt was around the time where they assassinated Peter R. de Vries. Very likely they tried continuously, but then upon 7th of October there were many kidnapped people. I said what I said. Okay, so when I talked about returning the kidnapped and how it can be remediation for people, then this is remediation. Returning the kidnapped people is remediation. Although for Mark is has to emphasize also on kidnapped children. Okay, this would be further remediation for Mark Rutte. And yes, look at this lot of fortune. Pinpointing the ascendant. That's how I knew it's Mark, because they were thinking to kidnap Mark Rutte, and not only that, I can tell the technology that they were thinking to use, because when I saw Mark chart, immediately there was what came up was CERN, and I know nothing about CERN, but the technology of CERN is having to do with lower astral rituals that are done with ritual abuse, and the way they do that is to make a people mind controlled, and they tried. By the way, when I tended to, there was a time that was very sensitive for my Cortez, so I tried to, there was time I did warnings. And then there was an attempt to kidnap me using the same method that they would try to kidnap Mark. And this was to try to hack into my nervous system and to exhaust me. And then they managed to take my phone, by the way. They took my phone because I was sitting to drink a cafe, and then I charged my phone, I forgot about it. And then I never found that cafe ever again. I never found that cafe, even though it's always around the neighborhood in Tel Aviv or Ramat Aviv, and they tried to make me go wrong direction, and they were trying to do. Now Mark is okay. I'm not gonna say that, but this is people that are in those positions. They are very sensitive to those things. Okay, so that's how they try to get up Mark Rutte. No, but now here's the thing. I had Uranus going to my third house back then, and this means that anyway I would my daily routine would not be fixed. For Mark is the opposite ascendant, so his daily routine is always fixed, and it was more difficult to hack into his brain because he always does the same things, and for him was more the risk that somebody would get him where his daily routine is, which the remedy would usually be to change the daily routine. But changing the daily routine could also be exposing him to a place where the brain system can be more easily hacked because they could navigate his way to tell him go here, go there. And they wanted to do that to Mark and to kidnap him in that way. When I tended to his political assassination, they tried to do that to me, and they managed to take my phone. They managed kind of like to make me dissociated so that I forgot my phone. And Mercury, I think Jupiter was in Gemini then. When Jupiter will go to the last degrees of Gemini, I'll know to tell you more, because Jupiter was in Gemini and he was squaring, and it was squaring Neptune. Mercury was squaring Neptune as well. Yes, not Mars, I think it can be, but I'm not sure. And even those that did that, they said to me something Teflon, so that I would associate that with Mark, because I tried to warn, and this is why basically they tried to do that to me. It can be that my psychologist was involved. I'm not sure. Okay, but even if, it means he was mind controlled by somebody. So it's a treason cult. What can I say? Because they constantly try to hack into my nervous system. I don't know what happened to me. Okay, so and calling on Antares, calling on Antares for this one, and Al Qaeda. Yes, Al Qaeda is needed. But that was the thing. That was the thing, because I was turning to political assassination by the time I saw Mark chart prevention, and yeah. So this one could serve as remediation, but for Mark, he must remediate for kidnapping and missing children. Even missing children is okay, because a lot of them are kidnapped. If you see the picture of Lital, here it happened in Israel, but even still, to remedy cases of kidnap. For example, when I channeled Peter out of freeze, by chance, I was just like doing channeling experiment. Then immediately I was in Netherlands, and I was shown how to prevent the kidnapping of children. And basically, for people, it's very easy. If you are around a place and you see somebody tending to a child in a way that is too intimate, too close, first of all, for me, I take the camera out, okay? Like take out the camera and film them. But also, first, yes, but also, if you can approach that person, you don't have to say anything. You just approach that person and try to see what's this child, does this child belong to somebody, and so on and so forth. If you cannot separate them without risking yourself, then what you do is basically you film them. And you post it on social media. You don't have to post anything other than that. You just film it, post it on social media, so it's visible. I did that. Yes, I know. And in a hostel, when I was staying at INO, I don't know if it was staff or not, was holding child, and I saw that the interaction was too much, so I took camera, and it was back to my Instagram. And this is not violation, because it is children rights, okay? So it's not illegal. It's very important. Even though, Hollandier? I call him Hollandier. Holladier. Yeah, that was the famous picture. Yeah. Um, so I did Holladier, but it was in favor of humanity. And that was the first thing that I was shown. And yeah, to prevent kidnapping of people would be remediate for that particular thing, because okay, I will say that even further. They would try to get to the inner child of person, even if person adult, 60, 70, whatnot, they would try to get to the inner child of person, and for, what that really is, yes. But this is the remedy, because it's around that. The assassination attempt would be around that. Um, and yes, cautious around any place that is like hotel room, or the physical bedroom, or anything of that sort. Yes, because that can be. I'm not going to elaborate on that more, but that can be something. Um, yeah, that's what I received today. Let's take a look again at the chart. So midheaven Al-Qaid, opposing Saturn on, and Sun in the 11th house, ascended, conjoining my Uranus astrology. And astrology with Jupiter is benevolence and to use astrology for remediation and charity, and to prevent death. 23 degree is the double degree of, is the same frequency as 11 degree. Also separations and divorce, but it's also Uranian degree. So to prevent death through hacking into nervous system. Yeah. And I can say also why I was sensitive to that, because it won't happen to everybody who would tend to that, because I'm ascendant Pisces, and the ruler of ascendant is in my first house. So it's kind of like I was operating as a type of a shield, but the shield only works with remediation. Yeah. This is also why I'm more sensitive to that. Okay. Moon in the 8th house next to Sirius. Trining Mars in the 12th house. The occult science of death and to do with Lilith. Okay, all topics Lilith. You know what Lilith is already? There's a Lilith is on my Mars. And what did I tend to? I tend to the fact, okay, the first time I saw Assassination of Peter the Freeze, I saw how it happened, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's exactly what happened to women that escape violence. And then I thought about the What Expands Upon Cooling, which is a cold cases, and For the Murd. So the purpose of What Expands Upon Cooling was actually For the Murd, is to show how we could have prevented the assassination. And sexual sovereignty plays a megalithic role in preventing assassination and the kidnapping attempt, and also in accessing our own nervous system. Yeah, I'm just midway into watching Annika Lucas' last interview. And by the way, I will say it, in Belgium, when Annika was trafficked, they would be filming, the children would be filming, like other politicians, and according to Annika's testimony, and basically the child was trafficked and mind controlled to make a politician or somebody that they wanted to consolidate wealth with, also around the Bilderberg and Belsen. They're still standing, the real estate still standing in Arnhem. And they're still meeting there. So those things probably still happening. And so therapy, connect with your inner child. Okay, let's expose all the dumb fuckery. But the premier back then of Belgium would hold the tapes. So premiers along the world understand how to prevent political assassination. Yeah, but they need to remediate. So yeah.